Welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me, especially if you're new here. It is May 1st, 2025. It is also Thursday. Running a little bit on. There is quite a bit to cover today. Some days there's just massive amounts to go through. Now we are in our official first day of the second quarter of 2025. The first one has gone by rather rapidly. Uh, Typically, it is May Day, the 1st of May, but it looks like this one probably not so much. There is a saying in the markets of sell in May and go away, but that might be held off at least for today. We've got quite a few things to cover as well as some new technologies here. So let's get started as we always do with what's going on in the markets. Now, Fiat Greed made hers at 35. So it's dropped back down into the fear level a bit. Yesterday was quite a volatile day. Did end barely up after having a bit of down. Now, what happened with this? We're back in the greed territory at this moment. We've got jobs that we're watching out for, but I'll go over the calendar. But what happened yesterday was that the GDP came out, gross domestic product numbers for the United States, awfully weak. So we have slower jobs and then the GDP dropping, but the PCE help, that is personal consumer expenditures. So people going out and spending money. But I believe a lot of this was on all of these tariff fears that they were saying that there's front load spending, and that just means that they're buying everything now prior to the price going up. Now, behind all of this, we've got the 2-year yield sending a bit of a warning on all of this that there is an incoming shift. So it may not happen today. As I was saying, right now, we've got what looks like a little bit of green coming into it. And the futures, as of this morning, are saying that this is set for a continuance back to bullish positions. So stock market futures going up, volatility coming down. We've got gold dropping as a result. It's going back closer to that 3,100 level, still above 3,200 at the moment, but it is dropping, and if it continues, could lose more at the moment. We've got oil coming down on peace talks. It's down quite a bit, below 57. We've got the 10-year yield has also dropped, so more buying into the bond market, a bit of the United States debt. Exactly who is purchasing it, we're not sure. 4.152 on the rate. As I said, the 2-year yield, more of the market warning. We've got the Dixie at 99.86, so relative strength of the dollar also gaining. This is good for the United States as far as what they're doing for their balances. We've got the cryptocurrencies are up. Bitcoin above 95,000 again, and staying pretty strong there, mostly consolidating really. So money is looking for different ways, not just to save money now, but also to invest and get a return. So when it does that, it's a little more risk on, a little more greed. We've got foreign companies flocking to what they call the panda bond, and this is Chinese debt. So we are watching a shift in these currency controls. Let's go into the calendar. This morning, not too long from now, probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes, we're getting initial jobless claims, and then the PMI going through 9:45. So not long after market opens, but we're really watching Friday, because this is when the ADP non-farm payrolls comes out, and they will be really looking at those numbers. Now, the earnings coming out today. Part of what happened with the stock market was with the earnings of Mag7 was Meta and Microsoft. And so today, after hours, we've got Amazon, Apple, and then a few others, of course, Airbnb, Reddit. And then tomorrow, pre-market, we've got some oil companies. Now, we've also got MasterCard up here. They're going to be reporting soon. I've got some things to speak about with them. Now, a little bit of a shift to commercial real estate for a couple of reasons. First off, CMBS, that's commercial mortgage-backed securities. So commercial loans, delinquency rate climbing again in April. led by multifamily and lodging surging. So delinquencies in these surging with all of this rehoming of bringing back manufacturing, production, and jobs back to the United States, it's actually showing an initial shift back, at least in factory manufacturing and industrial for the commercial. So we'll see if there's a shift out of residential, which is what's taking the hit at the moment. This again causes opportunities. There are a couple of crowdfunding for these. If you're looking into fundraise, you don't want to invest directly, but fundraise might be a good solution going forward on dips. So we've got consumer spending soared in March as Americans tried to get ahead of tariffs. This was that PCE numbers and the reason that it's up. Now, the problem with this is that the next time it reports after the spending decreases is going to set for a fall. So this sets the clock to quarter 3 for the effects of this to be felt. So we've got this boost right now as everybody bought up front. Then they're going to have that lag effect where they don't purchase for a while. And then that time period from when that happens to when the reports actually come out. So what is that time frame? Right around August. So going over to the credit cards, Visa and MasterCard, we've got Visa saying that spending is resilient despite a slump in travel. So what we're really watching is that there is a shift in what people are purchasing. They are still using their charge cards, but using it more for essentials, buying groceries, buying things that they need, as opposed to discretionary spends like going out for vacations and the likes is coming down. We have also MasterCard. I said I would speak about them. Now, they're embracing agentic AI, artificial intelligence. So it's just clustered artificial intelligence that are kind of taking over the financial terms. And this ups their cross border investment. And how this is doing this is because there's less oversight. So to me, it could potentially up the risk. There's a lot to that. I'm not going to go in there at the moment, but just to know that that is up on that, there's still massive jobs at loss there. For a couple of market bits, as I said, what really pumped the market yesterday were the earnings from Meta and Microsoft. They both had large earnings forward, a lot of it with artificial intelligence. We had GM, General Motors. They lowered their guidance, but Moderna upped theirs by cutting costs. So they're expecting better returns, even though their earnings were down. So their stock up as well. Now I'd like to shift a little bit into what I'm seeing going on in the background, which is this entire shift of currency. It's much larger than the stock market or any of these smaller things that are driving the day-to-day ups and downs that we're seeing in some of the volatility. And this, of course, is the shift into stable coins, which are CBDCs. Now, we've got a shift into reserve currency. We've got BRICS down here started at the bottom, actually slashing their US dollar use to 1/3 of their total trade. So they're now trading 2/3 in their native currencies or electronic versions of these. So stable coins, EU1, e-ruble, and the like. So I had to bear listening to someone who's supposed to be an economic professional this morning saying that his take on this is that the reserve currency shift is going to go either to the euro or the sterling. And I just feel like that's very disconnected to think that this would shift out of the US dollar into an existing fiat currency. That's not going to happen. It's going to shift into these CBDCs. To me, it's very clear, but apparently there are quite a few people and very high up this financial chain that don't see it yet. So we've got even Citi predicting $3.7 trillion moving into stable coins. I'm going to say that's a beginning of it. That would definitely not include the derivatives that are going to be shifting into this. It's going to be massive. So there's a couple of polar stories here. And already what I see as they're trying to cash in on this. So World Liberty, this is the one that is started by the Trump family. They're going to be used to close a $2 billion Binance investment. Now, they're using USD1, integrating with the Tron ecosystem, and this is supported by billionaire Justin Sun. Now, he is the one behind a lot of this, also recently at the White House, having talks with Trump on all of this. Now, another interesting aspect of this that I would like to point out is that they're pointing this out as one of the most transparent, regulated stablecoins, heavily regulated. That is a flag. And it is backed by short-term treasury, namely 2-year yields, and cash equivalents. So it's going to be the backing of US dollar denominated assets is what they're setting this up for. So shifting in a different aspect, Sam Altman added again. Again, apologies to any of you that do like him. He's not a fan of his. Anyway, World Crypto Project launching in the United States now. He started in third world countries, gathering the biometrics of poor, unsuspecting people. He's banned in several countries for this. He is also with ChatGPT. So behind all of this, OpenAI. So he's bringing his orbs to scan your retinas and your internal biometrics in Atlanta, Austin, Los Angeles, Miami, Nashville, and San Francisco. So he said at a Wednesday press conference that they are going to build an orb factory for these evil machines in Richardson, Texas. So please don't do this. Please don't scan this until you absolutely look into this and are willing to give over your life and your body information to this. It's not even a person, maniac. So moving over to kind of what's going on globally, we've got China signaling for an opening of trade talks with the United States. They've been in trade talks, they just don't want to admit it. They've been moving some of the tariffs and they are working in other aspects. So very clear, but if they come out with an open and clear deal with the United States, it could make the United States stock market rocket even further, but also the Asian markets, because both sides will like that. They don't like uncertainty. So again, in Asian markets, we've also got the Bank of Japan. They're also negotiating trade deal with Washington, although an announcement with them wouldn't have the same effect, not as massive, would still be positive, and they kept their interest rate unchanged. So looking a little solid on that aspect. Now, we've got US and Ukraine signed a natural resources deal. And what they tied into this is not just more spending, but also the Reconstruction Investment Fund. So trading this off for their resources and materials in typical United States fashion of this type of a deal. So this is going to be going forward, tying in their resources, if you will, very similar to Belt and Road Initiative. In fact, they copied the playbook by the United States with this type of negotiation. So a couple of other things, water, blood tensions growing over India and Pakistan's shared rivers. We spoke about this a little bit watching the increase in tensions here. Now, India is an up and coming that is not spoken about much in the United States, but they're much more massive with their trade and abilities and resources than are led to believe. Now, and the last thing, we've also got Iran discussing negotiations with Trump. Now, this is a little bit more geared toward nuclear deal because they want to become a fully recognized nuclear country. We'll see what happens with that. And just to send you a little bit of light back into your day, there was the automaker show over in China, and this is a picture of one of their new flying vehicles. So it's a personal vehicle that's not just on the road, but also you can fly it. They've got a lot of amazing technology coming out. So could be a little fun. I know there's going to be a lot of restrictions on a lot of things, but this is kind of exciting tech, and I hope that this kind of brightens to look forward a little bit. There is innovation coming out to look forward to. So with all of this, thank you all for being here again, and thank you all for that were in the discussion last evening again. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.